total internet users. We're currently at 462 million internet users, while the entire US population is at 350 million. So we have more internet users in India than the entire population of the US. I didn't do it, but thanks for the applause anyway. So back in 2004, we had about 7,000 names, .co.in names that were registered. By March 2010, numbers rose to 610,000. As of June 2016, we have 2.136 million .in domains registered, and we're looking to grow this to 3 million by March of next year. So these are just some stats that, that make me a true believer in the growth of this extension, and that's one of the main reasons I've been investing in this space. Some other stats you guys can read on here. India has the second most number of internet users. I've already mentioned that. In a very young demographic as well. Expected in 2020, the average age of an Indian is expected to be 29 years old, compared to 37 for China and 48 for Japan. So this young demographic are going to be our future CTOs, CEOs, and they're going to be the decision makers. And while this extension is still young.in, once these guys get into these positions, they're already going to be aware that the .in is the place to go, especially if you're in India. So the next slide, just a little bit about .com versus co.in versus .in. So I've always said this, if com is king, which in the foreseeable future, it definitely seems to be king, the .in is queen. So coming to the US after about 3 years, just driving around, I'm very excited to see billboards, magazines, promoting the .in extension. About 3 years ago, it was pretty much .com everywhere I went. Today I'm seeing a lot more .ins just advertised all over the place, and that's very exciting for me. So my wife and my daughter, they love going shopping, and while they're in the store, I usually approach the store owners, and if they have a .com or co.in, I ask them, why not a .in? And part of the reason is they already launched with the .com, and this is the feedback that I get from them, is that it's very tough for them to rebrand, right? It's confusing to the users. If they already have a .com, why are they going to rebrand to a .in? So that is kind of a challenge that we need to get through, is kind of moving from the .com to the .in. If you guys are aware, the Ministry of Economy and IT recently urged its citizens to ditch the .com in favor of .in. And that's great news for all of us. I mean, it's so positive, right? Yeah. Thanks, Doc. Just some personal, a lot of this feedback is just from personal experience again. You should obviously consult a lawyer and, before you guys get into any type of investment. So a lot of it is just my personal experience with .in. A couple of things I think that .in can be used for, besides India, we can use it as .international. We have two letters, that beautiful letters, .in. It's actually a word, in. Like, we're not stuck in a country where it's .zw, for example, Zimbabwe. There's not much you can do with those two letters. With these two letters, there's a whole world of opportunity here. We can use it as .international, .internet, .information, incorporate, as well as other countries, Indonesia, Iran, although they have their own extensions. So it can also be used in words like a domain hack. For example, dolph.in, dolphin, domain, D-O-M-A.in. Some other words, mannequin, which I own, and I no longer own it. Shark fin, dustbin. A lot of these words have already been taken, and so we kind of have to think outside the box to get some great keywords in the future. So talking a little bit about keywords versus brandable. So I've been involved with price.com for about 15 years now, and price.com is just a keyword descriptive word that a lot of people just type in to get to the domain. For about 10 years there, we did not spend a penny in advertising, yet we generated over $6 million in revenue for a number of our clients. And that made me a true believer in a descriptive, generic, recognizable, meaningful domain names. Like, for example, let's say this room was filled with carpet owners, and we had punkagcarpets.com, Mamit Carpets, John Carpets, .in rather, and so the attention span of the average human is about like 8 seconds, and I think a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. So by the time you get home, you're going to forget all these domain names. The one you're going to remember is a keyword, carpets.in. Just a single one-word descriptive domain name. So let's say we're all carpet owners. The person that owns carpets.in will pretty much be the king. Same thing with cameras. The person that owns cameras.in is pretty much the king in that generic category. So this is my personal feedback again from investing. I prefer base words instead of words ending in ing or ed. For example, shop versus shopped, shopping, grab versus grab or grabbing. These are just keywords that I prefer to invest in. I love business in a box domains where you just say the word and the user already is kind of knows what to expect when they arrive at that domain name. So big investor in that. I feel a keyword domain saves on marketing costs. You don't have to spend so much on marketing because the user that's coming to the site is already aware. When they're typing in carpets, they know what to expect on that domain name. Another big thing, like with price.com, what we used to do is we're a comparison shopping engine. We don't sell any physical products. So there's a number of changes that go into place with Google. You don't know what their algorithms are. Recently they launched a Panda